Hi guys, a very warm welcome to all of you in our YouTube channel Gurmantra Siksha Kagran. I'm your educator Saranya and today it is our numerical dose 4. Okay, we are going to solve some of the numericals. So let's go with the first question. The first question is yeast biomass that is given as C6, H10, O3 and N grown on glucose is given as this is the equation. Okay, glucose plus 0.48 ammonia plus 3 oxygen gives you 0.48 biomass. This is the biomass plus 3.12 carbon dioxide plus 4.32 water. Okay, the amount of glucose needed for the production of 50 grams per liter of the yeast biomass in a batch reactor with working volume of 100,000 liter is how many kgs? So you're going to find the amount of glucose needed for the production of 50 grams per liter of biomass. Okay, so first we have to calculate the total biomass because they have given 50 grams per liter, but you have to scale it up to the working volume because they've given the working volume to be 100,000 liters. So you're going to multiply that to get the total biomass production. So total biomass production is equal to concentration of yeast biomass, that is 50 grams per liter. It is written as 5. It is not 5 here, it is 50. Okay, it is 50 grams per liter into volume of the reactor. The volume of the reactor is 10 power 5. Okay, so if you multiply both, you will get 50 into 10 power 5 grams. Okay, so this is the total biomass production. Now we have to calculate how many grams of glucose is required for 1 gram of biomass. Because if we get how many grams of glucose for 1 gram of biomass, we can multiply it for the total biomass production. Okay, so biomass is here. We have to first find the biomass in grams. They've given biomass in moles here. Okay, we want that in grams because the final answer we have to give it in kg. So first we have to convert moles into grams. Okay, what is moles? Moles is equal to weight by molecular weight. Okay, so if you want to find weight, simply cross multiply mole into molecular weight. Mole into molecular weight, you will get your weight. Okay, so here biomass they are given. So mole carbon is 6 into its molecular weight 12 plus hydrogen is 10 here into 1. Oxygen molecular weight is 16 into 3 here. Nitrogen molecular weight is 14 into 1. So totally 150 grams. So biomass from this formula is 150 grams. 1 mole of biomass is 150 grams. That is what they are given. Okay. 1 mole of biomass is 150 grams. So 1 mole of glucose is 180 grams. You can calculate the same from this formula. Okay, from C6H12 and O6 if you calculate, you will get 1 mole of glucose is 180 grams. But in the question they have given 1 mole of glucose is producing 0.48 moles of biomass. Okay, so you have to multiply it by 0.48. So 1 mole of glucose is equal to 0.48 mole of biomass. 1 mole of glucose means 180 gram gives 0.48 multiplied by 1 mole of biomass is 150 grams. Okay. Now we have to find how much glucose is required for 1 gram of biomass. Okay, for 1 gram of biomass, how much glucose is required? You just simply have to cross multiply. Okay, 180 divided by 0.48 divide into 150. If you do, you will get 1 gram of biomass will need 2.5 grams of glucose. Okay, 1 gram of biomass will require 2.5 grams of glucose. So totally how much biomass we have? Totally we have 50 into 10 power 5 grams of biomass. So simply multiply 2.5 with total biomass. Okay, 2.5 with total biomass you will get 12,500 kg of glucose. So the answer is 12,500 kg of glucose is required. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. In a cross-flow filtration process, the pressure drop, which is denoted as delta P, is 2 atmosphere. Inlet feed pressure PI is 3 atmosphere. filtrate pressure PF is equal to atmospheric pressure, which is 1. The average transmembrane pressure drop, that is delta PM, they've asked. Okay, they've asked. So you have to note down the formula for this question. So this is the formula. Okay, you have to remember the formula to solve. So delta PM is equal to P inlet plus P outlet by 2 minus P filtrate. Okay, so you have to find delta PM. P inlet they've given in the question, PF also they've given in the question. Delta P they've given in the question. From delta P and Pi we can find PO. Okay, how is that? Delta P is equal to P inlet minus P outlet. You know the value of delta P, which is 2 atmosphere. P inlet is 3 atmosphere. So from this equation we can find P outlet is 1 atmosphere. Okay, so we know P inlet is 3 plus P outlet is 1 divided by 2 from the formula minus the PF is 1. So if you equate this, you will get 1 atmosphere as the answer. Very simple question. You just have to know the formula. Okay, you just have to know the formula and you can directly substitute all the values in the formula and get the answer straight away. Okay, next question. An industrial fermenter contains 10,000 liters of medium needs to be sterilized. Okay, the initial spore concentration in the medium is 10 power 6 per ml. Okay, so initial concentration of the spore is 10 power 6 per ml. The desired probability of the contamination after sterilization is 10 power minus 3. Okay. Next, the death rate of the spores at 121 degrees Celsius is 4 per minute. Okay, so this is the initial number of spores. The desired probability of contamination after sterilization is 10 power minus 3. And death rate they've given us 4 per minute. Assume that there is no cell death during heating and cooling phase. The holding time of sterilization processes, they're asking you the holding time. For this also simply you have to know the formula. Okay, ln N1 by N2 is equal to Kd into THD. THD is the holding time. Holding time. Death rate constant, initial number of spores and final number of spores. Final number of spores they have given as 10 power minus 3. Initial number of spores they have given as 10 power 6, but they have given in per ml. We want in liters. So what we will do? We will do 10 power 6 divided by 10 power minus 3. If that 10 power minus 3 goes on the numerator, it will become 10 power 3. So totally 10 power 9. Okay. So totally initial concentration of spores is 10 power 9 spores per liter. Okay. So initial number of, this is the concentration. Okay. This is the concentration. So if you want to know the number, how will you do? Concentration into the liter amount. Okay, amount of medium. So the number of spores is 10 power 9 spores, that is the concentration of spores into the medium, the liters of medium, volume of the medium. If you multiply these two, you will get 10 power 13 spores, that is the number of spores. So N1 is 10 power 13, N2 is 10 power minus 3 given in the question, Kd 4 per minute given in the question. Simply substitute all of these value in this formula. Ln 10 power 13 by 10 power minus 3 is equal to 4 per minute into THD. So THD value if you calculate, you will get as 9.21 minutes. Okay, that is the holding time. Next question. The dimensions and the operating conditions of a lab scale fermenter are as follows. Volume is 1 liter. Diameter they have given as 20 centimeter. Agitator speed is 600 rpm. Ratio of impeller diameter to fermenter diameter is 0.3. This fermenter needs to be scaled up to 8000 liters. Okay, from 1 liter to 8000 liter scale up is required for industrial application. If the scale up is based on constant impeller tip speed, the speed of the agitator in the larger reactor is how many RPM? They are asking for the RPM. Assume that the scale up factor is the cube root of the ratio of fermenter volumes. So this is the smaller reactor, this is the larger fermenter. Okay. So we are going to scale it up. The constant impeller tip speed formula is pi NI di. Okay. Note this down. If they ask you in the question about impeller tip speed, you have to use this formula. Note this down, very important. Okay. So the volume is 1 liter and the volume of the big fermenter is 800, 8000 liter. Next, diameter is 20 centimeter. We do not know. Agitated speed is 600 rpm. We don't know here. The diameter of the impeller to the fermenter they've given us 0.3. The ratio here that we also don't know. Impeller diameter is they've given as 6 centimeter. Okay. Since they've given you impeller diameter 6 centimeter and ratio 0.23, from these two values you can find out the diameter of the fermenter. Okay, you can find out the diameter of the fermenter. So the scale up factor first you have to find out. You have to first find out the scale up factor. Scale up factor is what? Final volume by initial volume, the whole power 1 by 3. Okay. So final volume is 8000 divided by initial volume is 1, the whole power 1 by 3. You will get as 20. 20 is the scale up factor. So you have to multiply the values of this into 20 to get the values for larger fermenter. So diameter of the impeller. So diameter of the impeller you have to find out. For the small fermenter, the diameter is 6. Okay, for the small fermenter, the impeller diameter is 6 centimeter into 20, 120 centimeter will be for the larger diameter. So what is required for this question is N and D. That's all is required. For N of this small fermenter we know, but we do not know the N of the large fermenter. That is the RPM they are asking, agitator speed. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to equate, that is impeller tip speed for small fermenter is equal to impeller tip speed for larger fermenter. So pi NI for small fermenter is equal to pi NI for large fermenter. Pi gets cancelled. NI you know it is 600 rpm and diameter of impeller also you know that is 6 centimeter. Okay, Ni you have to find out, that is RPM of the larger fermenter, agitator speed, and for the impeller diameter we have calculated here using the scale up formula. Okay, so that is 120 centimeter. If you equate this equation, you will get the agitator speed for the larger fermenter to be 30 rpm. Okay, very simple question. You simply have to know what is given in the question and how do you follow up. Okay, next question. The movement of uncharged molecules is done by active transport. So the concentration ratio, that is C in by C out, is 1.6. They've given you R value, T value. They are asking for energy, that is delta G. Delta G is equal to RT ln K equilibrium. K equilibrium is nothing but C in by C out. Okay. R value they have given 1.987. Temperature value you have to convert into Kelvin, 37. Okay, so you'll get 300 Kelvin into ln of K equilibrium is 1.6. If you calculate this, you will get the value of delta G. Okay, very simple. Next question. A UV visible spectrophotometer has a minimum detectable absorbance of 0.02. This is the absorbance value. The minimum concentration of the protein sample that can be measured reliably in the instrument with cuvette path length is 1 centimeter. Okay, they're asking you the concentration. They're asking the C value. The molar extinction coefficient also is given. Very simple question. They've given you the value of absorbance, path length and epsilon. They're asking you the value of concentration. So concentration is equal to absorbance by epsilon into N. Okay. Absorbance is 0.02. Path length is 1 and epsilon value, molar absorptivity constant, is 10 power 4. If you equate this, you will get the answer as 2 micromoles. Okay, 2 micromoles. 10 power minus 6 is micro, so 2 micromoles is the answer. Okay, always give the answer in the unit they've asked in the question. Always note this. Okay, that is all for you guys today. So we have done small dose of numerical for today. So keep learning, guys. Keep learning. Be dedicated for your dreams so that you can achieve it. Alright. So if you are a CSIR NET aspirant and are interested in Unacademy subscription, you can do that and follow Neha Taneja ma'am and to get 10% off you have to use a referral code Neha. Okay. So like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth. If you have any queries, you can contact us guys in the comment section. You can tell us about the experience of your class. Thank you so much and have a nice day.